While most of us tend to focus on furthering our own careers, Cliff Rosenthal has always concentrated on those in danger of being left behind. From food co-ops to small credit unions, he's always championed the little guys, the people overlooked in today's world of massive mergers and consolidations. It's an easy choice for Cliff, primarily because credit unions embody his lifelong vision to help foster a community of cooperatives that combines resources and commitment to make a real and positive difference in people's lives. There were literal roots to Cliff's career, a food co-op in a New York apartment in 1970 to be precise. Cliff's concern with world hunger led to this avocation, which soon turned into a career when he was hired by the American Indians for Development to organize food co-ops and other social services. His commitment to low-income and minority communities led him to Washington in 1977, where he was first introduced to the credit union movement when the National Association of Farm Worker Organizations, a coalition of agencies serving migrant and seasonal farm workers, chartered a credit union. Cliff became its first president and later was exposed to the broader National Federation of Community Development Credit Unions, or what is often referred to as the Federation. In 1980, he joined the staff as a director of training and technical assistance until a shift in federal policies eliminated the organization's source of revenue. With no money for staff or rent, the Federation moved its skeleton operation to Rosenthal's house. Eventually, their director left, leaving the organization near dissolution. This would prove to be the kind of challenge that has become a recurrent theme throughout Cliff's life. When the going gets tough, there's no doubt that this guy gets going. During the 1980s, Cliff engineered a gradual rebuilding process of the Federation. The first project was to help a community organize and operate a community development credit union in an abandoned bank branch. Today, that credit union is a $15 million institution, Lower East Side People's Federal Credit Union. The 1980s continued with an impressive array of programs aimed at demonstrating the importance of introducing credit unions and programs in distressed communities. Cliff's primary focus was raising capital for asset-starved, low-income credit unions. The capitalization program for community development credit unions succeeded in raising several $1 million of low-cost loans from the philanthropic community and religious organizations. Cliff's stature among Washington officials was beginning to grow as well. In 1989, he was appointed to the Federal Reserve Board's Consumer Advisory Council, where he pressed for a coherent national policy to facilitate the delivery of financial services to low-income people and federal investment in CDCUs. In the 1990s, Cliff pushed the Federation to find new ways to broaden the reach in low-income and minority communities. He helped establish programs for faith-based credit unions, tapped the AmeriCorps Vista project for volunteer labor, and introduced individual development accounts. He also began work to establish a Latino credit union network as well as other credit unions nationwide. The Federation's urging in the mid-80s for major federal investment gathered momentum in the 90s. Creating an ad hoc coalition, they coined the term Community Development Financial Institutions. President Clinton became a strong proponent of the initiative, and in a moment symbolizing Cliff's lifelong dedication to the movement, he was present at a Rose Garden ceremony in 1994 when the president announced legislation creating a fund for credit and financial services for low-income communities. Cliff's career ladder had taken him all the way to the White House. So what was his next logical move? A cabinet position? A run for Congress? Actually, Cliff headed where he felt most comfortable, back to the little guys. He'd become disappointed with the federal fund's neglect of small credit unions, and he organized a call for a small and emerging CDFI funding component. His labors proved fruitful once again, as the CDFI fund has awarded more than $40 million to nearly 100 credit unions. Today, the Federation little resembles the meager organization Cliff kept alive in his home with nothing but an answering machine and hard work. The Federation now boasts a membership of more than 200 CDCUs, a staff of 17, a portfolio of nearly $20 million invested in member credit unions, and a wide range of programs to reach the underserved. So where is Cliff headed next? There are plenty of areas in the world that can benefit from his expertise. One such region is Russia. Trained and schooled to be a Russian historian, Cliff has worked as a translator and published a collection of 19th century Russian memoirs. In 1996, he traveled to Moscow with the World Council of Credit Unions and attended a national congress of the newborn credit union movement. There, at a farewell banquet, a university professor issued an open-ended invitation to Cliff, stating, "Before 1917, we had so many cooperatives in Russia. There is such a rich history. You must come study it." We can only hope that Cliff Rosenthal can continue to lend his expertise and insight to underserved areas throughout the world. By always pulling for the little guy, Cliff has demonstrated to us what it means to be a giant among men. Ladies and gentlemen, in recognition for his efforts and dedication in advancing the credit union movement and helping low-income communities, the National Credit Union Foundation is proud to honor Cliff Rosenthal as this year's recipient of the Herb Wegner Memorial Award for Individual Achievement.